Hello everyone, my name is Putty and welcome back for another edition of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. We are here for the very first show of 2021. It is a brand new year, it is a brand new MAW, and as usual we are kicking things off with the most prestigious tournament in all of independent wrestling today. The number one tournament bracket you will see across all of the territories, and the place where everybody across all of American independent wrestling and beyond flock in to fight for one opportunity to be called the Rip Chord Invitational Champion. Who will be joining us this year? Well, let's find out. Representing Coastal Zone Championship Wrestling, it's Tigre Salvaje Jr. taking on MAW local and hot prospect entrant Huracan. Also, we have former three-time World's Heavyweight Champion Ernest Youngman taking on the Oli representative, the Campeonates del Mexico Oli, probably pronounced that all wrong, Hero, probably pronounced that wrong too. Also, we have another representative from Coastal Zone Championship Wrestling, the current Coastal Zone Champion, Air Attack Weagle. God damn it. This intro has not started well. Air Attack Weasel taking on former MAW alum and current 4C superstar Antonio Del Vecchio. Also, we have Freedom Caribbean Wrestling's Kid Toma, or just Toma, of former Big Star fame, taking on MAW's own former MAW Tag Team Champion, former New York City Tag Team Champion, former Pittsburgh Steel Tag Team Champion, former World Tag Team Champion, one of the most decorated tag team competitors in the business, been breaking out on his own lately and getting a lot of key victories across the territories. It is, of course, Deadly Dean Waldorf of the Ring Generals. That is the bracket. I, for one, am looking forward to a great show, a big culture clash as we see people from all over the territories tonight come and fight for the biggest tournament prize in all of professional wrestling. We have made a few edits to our production values. We've just increased them because we can afford to do so. It'll put a bit of pressure on our rivals, and also a gradual increasing of production values will help when we go regional in October, and we will need to compete with Rhode Island Pro Wrestling again. So I've started to do that because of that tonight, because it's a big show. We're not going to be doing this all year, but we are in the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium, hoping to fill out the 2,000 capacity building and make a bit of a return on our investment there. So let's get into the show. 2021, we're at Rip Chord Invitational. Rip Chord Invitational 16. We start off with a DVD exclusive, the Fade from Black, as Kid Toma appears in a hype video showing his dominant performances across the territories over the last year or so. He has just been destroying absolutely everybody in his path before finally coming to Freedom Caribbean Wrestling and destroying absolutely everybody there. And he's finally come here to Mid-Atlantic Wrestling to compete in the greatest independent tournament in history. Can he add another feather in his cap? As we now get to the start of the show for the live 2,000 capacity audience. And Tigre Salvaje Jr. does indeed defeat Huracan by pinfall with a Salvaje suplex. Terrible gimmick for Tigre Salvaje, who actually has a worse performance than Huracan. That's not a good debut for the for the Coastal Zone representative there, but he taught Huracan some technical skills, so that's a pretty good thing to do here. So I guess Tigre Salvaje showing off his technical prowess, while Huracan trying to sink a bit further down into that more lucha high-flying style. Actually, did I bring Tigre in as a face? Is that what the problem is? Nope. Just not good, I suppose. Yeah, just working that traditional lucha high-flying action that he is known for, and Tigre Salvaje with those technical skills diffusing the situation, bringing Huracan down to earth and really grinding out this victory and moving on to the semifinals, where he will meet Ernest Youngman, who defeats Hero by submission with that crossface chicken wing. Excellent match between two babyfaces, two glorious babyfaces. Of course, Ernest Youngman has been a top star here in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling since he arrived after a 6-month wrestling hiatus a couple of years ago, and here he competes against one of the heroes of Mexico. You know, he fought in south of the border for many years. He was a big star and he's now residing in Oli, and he brings that fast-paced lucha action going back and forth with our lad Ernest Youngman, but Ernest Youngman's a wrestling machine. He claims he's the best there's ever been, and tonight he manages to get back on track after a rough little patch by beating Hero with a fantastic crossface chicken wing and a wonderful technical performance from Ernest Youngman. And Antonio Del Vecchio manages to get into the semifinals with his Italian DDT. Antonio Del Vecchio, a MAW alum, bases his style a lot on Rip Chord with the nice, nasty strikes mixed in with a great technical prowess, moving very smoothly from hold to hold. Not in the same way that someone like Dewey Archer or Ernest Youngman likes to, but Del Vecchio, he's very easy on the eyes, but he doesn't play to the crowd. He just likes to switch from hold to hold, really work down an opponent mentally. But he's got those nice suplexes and nice normal sports entertaining moves in there, like a drop kick to keep the crowd on their toes and racket up the momentum. And in the end, he does hit the Rip Chord style DDT he likes to call the Italian DDT, and pick up the victory. And moving on to the semi-finals, where he will face Toma, who destroys Dean Waldorf in about 8 minutes with a double arm DDT. Dean Waldorf, he's usually that gritty grappler. He's usually able to take someone down and really work them over, really grind out a victory. But tonight, Toma's just got too much strength and too much power for Dean Waldorf to do that. So he manages to use a different weapon in his arsenal. Dean Waldorf, he's a nasty, gritty guy from New York, and he's able to use his brawling skills to really take it to Toma, really, hit him with the lefts and the rights and try and work down the giant Toma. And although Toma definitely isn't worked down by the nasty striking prowess of Dean Waldorf, he's definitely stutters a little bit, and Dean definitely puts out a good account of himself, but in the end Toma's strength and aggression and power is just too much for the ring general to handle, and Toma in the end has his double arm DDT and just picks up the victory, where he will face Antonio Del Vecchio in our semifinals. Speaking of semifinals, we have our first one up next, which is going to be Ernest Youngman taking on the victor of the first match, Tigre Salvaje Jr. In a very good match, good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Ernest Youngman defeats Tigre Salvaje Jr. in 23 minutes, 24 seconds by pinfall with the hit. Tigre Salvaje definitely doing a lot less technical wrestling than the first match, trying to bring that lucha style, trying to get the pace up to an extreme level, trying to make this an adrenaline rush, high-octane matchup, trying to put Ernest Youngman off his game. Trying to really knock Ernest Youngman off his perch, but Ernest Youngman won't be knocked off his perch, and Ernest Youngman, we've seen over the last couple of years, is adaptable. He's definitely willing to adapt to the situation and to wrestle any kind of match you can imagine. And just because Ernest Youngman isn't in there with a guy who's willing to play his game, isn't in there with a guy who's willing to go hold for hold, very slick technical wrestling with a wink to the crowd, doesn't mean Ernest Youngman can't excel. And indeed, Ernest Youngman brings the fire, brings the power, and is willing to brawl and really try and nastily shut down the high-flying maneuvers of Tigre Salvaje Jr. Very similar kind of matchup that we saw between Ernest Youngman and Hugh DeAsk a couple of years ago, where Tigre Salvaje is trying to use these brutal, almost devil-may-care-esque, nasty, high-flying maneuvers. And Ernest Youngman is using very well-timed strikes to really cut off the momentum of Tigre Salvaje Jr. Maybe a moonsault gets a kick to the face, or a springboard crossbody gets a double knee straight to the windpipe, really knocking the wind out of Tigre Salvaje Jr. And then those opportunities arise for Ernest Youngman to lock in those submission maneuvers, able to lock in and really nastily work down Tigre Salvaje Jr. Never losing sight of the crowd, though, making sure to throw a wink their way every now and then and make sure that they know that Ernest Youngman is their man. He is the man of the people. And he keeps working down and getting those opportunities, and every opportunity you give Ernest Youngman is another excuse for him to put together one of the slickest and most beautiful sequences of grappling that you have ever seen. And in the end, he's able to lock in that double underhook hold and then transition into a double underhook powerbomb, which is the hit, as I like to imagine it. And Ernest Youngman picks up the victory in 23 minutes and 24 seconds. Ernest Youngman moves on to the finals, which is very good for a man who has never won this tournament. Who will he meet there, though? Will it be Toma, or will it be MAW alum Antonio Del Vecchio, who I believe has actually won this tournament in the past? It will be Toma. He's to have a very good match. kind of a good warm-up for Toma in the finals, because Antonio Del Vecchio tries to work a very similar style of technical wrestling to Ernest Youngman. But unlike Ernest, and definitely unlike Deadly Dean, he's unable to adapt to the very brutal, nasty style of match this ends up becoming. Antonio Del Vecchio just tries to take down Toma, tries to work him over, but Toma's too brutal, too aggressive for that, and just lands a nasty kick to Del Vecchio's face. And it really puts Del Vecchio through a loop, and he can't quite get back on track, and then Toma gets to work. He starts hitting him with the big kicks and the big forearms, throwing him into the corner, working him down with the chops and the huge, massive frying pan-like slaps to the chest of Antonio Del Vecchio. Really nasty, brutal stuff from the monster that is Toma. And just like he has done all across the territories over the last few years, Toma wins, brutalizes, victimizes, and destroys as he moves on to the finals of the Rip Chord Invitational 2021 to take on Ernest Youngman. But before that, we have a tag team match as the Dynamite Express return to MAW to take on the Blazing Saddles, and they pick up the victory in 14 minutes and 31 seconds when Sid Collier defeats Cowboy Buck Winchester by submission with a Texas Cloverleaf. And good stuff from the returning Dynamite Express, who have definitely had some troubles, I suppose, abroad since they've been traveling the territories and getting rich. I'm interested in looking into that, actually. Cameron Jones was rusty, hasn't wrestled in a while. Okay, I'm willing to give them a bit of leeway. I was going to just throw out the Blazing Saddles project because it seems to be absolutely failing. But the Dynamite Express aren't as surefire as I expected them to be. Because the reason why I put this match together was to see if the Dynamite Express, a tag team that I very much trust and enjoy, could get a good match out of the Blazing Saddles. But maybe the Dynamite Express need a bit of time to warm up. So indeed, we will be seeing them again next episode against their long-term rivals, the Ring Generals, in a Coastal Zone tag team match. But now it is time as Ernest Youngman heads to the to the ringside interview area, and he gets on the mic and says, I've been in MAW for 3-4 years now. Before that, I had a 6-month hiatus from professional wrestling, and nobody was willing to touch Ernest Youngman. He was a guy on the independent scene. Got no bookings from Japan. Got no bookings from any of the big independent territories here in the US. Nobody was getting a look in, but there was one man who knocked on my door, and his name was Bossman Brayfield. He took that punt, and he took that risk, and he took the risk on a man called Ernest Youngman. The wrestling machine, the best there's ever been, and ever since then, my career's been on an upward trajectory, and I owe MAW for everything. All the world titles, all the world championship victories, all the trips to Puerto Rico, all the victories in California, everything that I have, I owe in small part to this company. And you know what? I don't care. I'm not begrudging. There are no negative feelings for that debt that I feel. Because I tell you what, I love wrestling, and I love wrestling almost more than anywhere else. Right here in the Mid-Atlantic, right here in North Carolina. And every step I take in that ring is one of life's little pleasures. And I gotta tell you, Toma, I said it once, I'll say it again. Monsters will fall, and diamonds will fade, but Ernest Youngman is forever, and it's about time I come back to Mid-Atlantic Wrestling and win the grandest prize in the grandest promotion in the grandest country on this planet. So I will take my leave. I will go to that ring, and I will work the greatest match of my life. I will fight harder than I've ever fought before. Because I deserve that championship, and I don't want to have an ego about this, but it's about time I get it. Ernest Youngman fired up and confident for the main event of the evening, and in a 78B, in about that great wrestling and good heat, Ernest Youngman defeated Toma in 25 minutes and 11 seconds with the hit. Ernest Youngman wins the Rip Chord Invitational Challenge title. Toma tries to come at Ernest Youngman with his brutal, nasty shots. We take about 10 minutes just getting some heel heat on Toma as he works down the hero Ernest Youngman, who sells like a beast, just selling Toma's brutal beatdown as he works down Ernest Youngman nastily. He really kicks to the windpipe as he lays on the ground. Toma just puts the boot in, And Ernest Youngman will not stay down, though. He constantly tries to kip up, tries to get to his feet, try to throw the fists, trying to take down Toma with that drop toe hold. Maybe start working on his leg, and eventually it starts to work. Toma starts to shudder. Ernest gets up on the first turnbuckle. Big flying elbow to a standing Toma. Toma does not go down. Ernest goes to the second turnbuckle. Big flying elbow to the standing Toma. Toma does not go down. Ernest on the third turnbuckle. Flying elbow to Toma. Toma still stands. Ernest goes to a fourth turnbuckle. Tries a flying elbow to Toma. And Toma catches him with a powerbomb. Catches him with a nasty powerbomb, sending Ernest Youngman flying halfway across the ring. Toma comes up. Big lariat in the corner. Big drop kick from the big man. As Toma positions Ernest Youngman on the top of the turnbuckles, gets up there himself, positions him for just a giant superplex, but Ernest counters, and then kicks Toma off of the turnbuckle. Finally, Toma dethroned from his standing position, kicked off the turnbuckle, landing on his back, and Ernest goes for that fourth elbow to a prone Toma. Nasty elbow to the throat of Toma, but now Ernest has the advantage, and he starts working his hold for hold, flashy, technical style. He starts working over Toma, going for his leg, going for his arm, going for all of his body parts, just working down the monster, trying to brutalize, rip off every body part Toma has, trying to neuter the monster, trying to slay the beast. And every second, with a wink to the crowd and a smile to the audience, as Ernest Youngman picks up the pace, starts to work the Ernest Youngman match. Hurricane Rana into a head hold of some sort. Maybe working that arm, starting to weaken up that left arm for that crossface chicken wing. And in the end, Ernest Youngman teases out a brainbuster, can't quite hit it. Teases out a powerbomb, can't quite hit it. And then Toma tries to battle back with big lariats and big kicks, but Ernest Youngman will not go down. He's got the momentum now, and he grabs Toma, and he hits him with that double underhook powerbomb with all the strength of his body, and he picks up the victory and lifts the trophy presented to him by the legendary Sam Keith. He lifts the trophy, confetti rains from the sky, streamers are shot into the ring, and Ernest Youngman gets on the mic and says, you know, there are lesser people that would take this opportunity to brag, but I think this is an opportunity to be thankful. I've been in this company for a long time now, but I tell you, it's given me absolutely everything I have. I don't have a championship in this company before today, but I tell you, I've been on the greatest high of my life over the last 3 years. I've got to stand in this ring every month, put my sunglasses on, put my leather jacket on, occasionally wear $75,000 worth of gold on my waist, look you in the eye, and truthfully say I'm the greatest there's ever been. I'm the wrestling machine, and I'm the assassin of the squared circle. I've been able to say that. I've been able to say that and it be true, and it's been warming my heart for 3 years. And the reason I've been able to say that is because Bossman Brayfield took a risk on a lad called Ernest Youngman. And every single one of you in the crowd believed in me. You took to me, and you let me become what I am today. And I look at you, Sam Keith, and you've created this legacy and this empire, this territorial system. And you've given me these opportunities, and I gotta thank you, and I gotta thank each and every one of you in the crowd, everybody watching who's bought the DVD to watch Ernest Youngman. Because it has been an honor, and like I say every week, it's been a pleasure. But the work is not over. It is now time to give back to this company. It is now time to wrestle a lot more around here, because I tell you what, I said I wouldn't have an ego. I said I love this company, and I'm not lying, but I've spent the last 3 years traveling around these territories showing everyone in the world why Ernest Youngman is the best. Well, now it's time to carry the flag for MAW. It's time to become the face of MAW, because everyone in the world now knows the man, the legend, the myth is Ernest Youngman. And now they need to see that the thing that made that man a legend is this company and this business. So thank you all for coming tonight. I really hope you continue to come to these shows, because it's an honor and a pleasure to wrestle in front of all of you. And I wish you all safe travels home. And cheers to another great year of professional wrestling in the best damn territory, in the best damn territorial system, in the best damn company, in the best damn country, in this whole damn world. Thank you all, and I will see you again. Ernest Youngman, hyped and proud of his 2021 Rip Chord Invitational Challenge victory. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the series. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're feeling especially generous, there's a link to my Patreon in the description, and there's also a link to my Twitter if you want to hear me ramble. I had a lot of fun today. I'm really glad. I like that. I'm starting to be able to take shows that are not fireworks and able to make them fun for me to book, and hopefully they're fun for you to watch. I really hope you're enjoying it. I hope you continue to enjoy, and like Ernest said, cheers to another year of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. I'll see you guys again. Peace out.